Well, there's one question I was going to ask, and then I want to throw it out to you guys to see what you think. But following on from that, I mean, obviously with digital media, you have an ability to get statistics to a certain level to actually find out a little bit about maybe who's profiling you, who's listening to you. Do you, in the jobs that you do, in the life that you lead, do you find that helps? Is that a driving factor?
Really, like. Karen knows
Google
right.
Analytics, go on.
I am massively geeky into stats, so yeah, I use it daily about everything. Google Analytics, there's one called Uberview, there's something called Music Metrics, which isn't amazing. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of Twitter analyzers, there's all sorts of, like, Facebook has insights, YouTube has insight, all of that. I mean, we have a video today that went out on Monday, and in the cab on the way over here, I got an email through from the label. It's like #1 most viewed video in 20 countries or something. And it's like, whether you're into stats or not, like, management just pooed themselves. Like, they're really happy with that stat. So it is kind of important. But I think there's also decisions to be made online about things. And we've had a situation, we've had this situation a lot, where someone really big and famous tweets about a band that I work on, and the immediate thing would be, have the band tweet back at them. Let's start a conversation. Let's get people interested in this. And, like, Ashton Kutcher likes the band. Let's see if all of his fans will or something. And, I asked the label if we can do that tweet, and then 3 weeks later they say, yeah, go for it. And it's kind of like, that's not really how Twitter works. Like, we kind of missed the window 10 minutes after you didn't email me. And I think there are decisions to be made on those platforms. Twitter's really quick, and it's not effective if you're not quick on it. But then you can do stuff on other things. And, it's good to know what your gender breakdown is, I guess, if you want to make smart marketing decisions. But it's, I do get stuck in them sometimes. But I
think in simpler terms, talking about SoundCloud specifically, we put the Miles Kane single up on SoundCloud, and that was the only place you can listen to it online until fans started sticking it on YouTube themselves and such. And then just going into the statistics of that one track, you can see, if you set up an account, you can see exactly who's placed that stream on any blog, on any website. And from that, I can immediately report to the record label, here, we put this up here, here's how many people have streamed it, there's Tumblr blogs, there's kids streaming it in there.
And also, here are the most influential blogs for this artist. Not necessarily influential in the world, but for this artist, this stream had 6 million plays. So that blog actually means quite a lot for this artist.
Yeah, and you can suddenly, looking at the stats, you can suddenly realise who's had the most plays, and then that can maybe inform your campaign almost. So, well, these are the guys that listen to it, let's perhaps give them an exclusive next time, or let's, like, focus more on those guys. And all the way down to the little tiny blogs of just some kid in his bedroom who's just got his own blog, and he's also stuck the Miles Kane track up and everything in between. It's really handy for that.
I think it's an emerging industry. I mean, yeah, certainly at my end of it, it's become a massive thing. It's kind of funny for me because I've used a lot of these different services, and Music Metric,
Buzzmetrics,
BuzzDeck,
Rockdex,
Bandmetrics. Next Big Sound. I mean, there's loads of these things that do
unique names for them, really.
I know, and they all lack like vowels. But anyway, and I've used all of them, and it was funny because I've only recently started seriously considering using one, and the singular reason was that the one in question cuts through a lot of shit by connecting to my sales information. So I think around any stats you have to ring the bell of warning of kind of like, some stats are incredibly useful and some stats are not. And kind of going back to my point earlier about the Dan and Pip thing, it's like the number of fans you've got, people think that's useful. It isn't. It's the number of fans that are actually engaging with you that is the useful number, not the total number of fans, because that's littered with what Americans love to call false positives. It's kind of the people who just go, I like that song, I like the band, and then they don't respond to the damn thing again. It's a case of trying to find the information that really does count for something. And and that's why for me, part of the sales thing here is definitely the connecting part, because the reality is at the end of the day, no matter how many ways I would try and spin an amazing angle on this, there's probably going to be a manager who go, did I make more money? And you've got to say, well, so if I can have a graph that goes, yeah, actually you did, then that works really well. But yeah, I think there's a lot of great information, and like Karen, and like I'm sure most kind of digital-based marketeers, I'm definitely extremely gay for stats. But I kind of started being really kind of like, I want all stats and I'm hemorrhaging stats, to the point when people in the company take the piss by just sending me stats because they know I get excited about them. And then you just realise, like, some stats I just don't care about. Total number of fans on Facebook is probably a good one. It's like, it's nice. If I wanted to palm a manager off, I could go, great news, you've got 100,000 fans on Facebook. You're not selling anything, and only 10,000 are interacting with you every month. But, you know, so it's about the value statistics there, and I think.
And selective
You know.
reporting.
But I mean, I've had this conversation with like clients and managers and artists and everything, and I think the brilliant thing about online, and the reason why I like working in it so much, is that you might have 100,000 Facebook fans. You might have had 100,000 fans before the internet existed, but you were never able to know anything about them or communicate with them or know that that guy's name is John and that guy's name is Mike or whatever. And with online, obviously you don't necessarily always have that information, but there is, it is 100,000 individual people suddenly. It's not a group of 100,000 people that like come to Wembley or buy the CD. It's 100,000 people that all have opinions and tastes, and they might like you in this totally random band, but that's quite interesting if there's some collaborate. If 90% of your fans also like this other band, I'm not suggesting people do collaborations based on that, but that's an interesting thing to know because that might work as a support tool or something. And I just think it comes down to that. Online makes it about singular people.